What if I told you that the biggest reason some people stay poor isn't bad luck, it isn't a lack of talent, and it isn't even a lack of opportunity? What if the real reason is something they repeat every single day without noticing? Because the truth is, poverty isn't always just about what's in your bank account. Sometimes, it begins inside your mind. And the most dangerous part? These habits feel completely normal. By the end of this video, you might recognize one of these habits in yourself, and once you see it, you'll never be able to unsee it again. Imagine two people earning exactly the same salary. They live in the same city. They have similar education. They even started their careers at the same time. 10 years later, one owns a house, has investments, and rarely worries about money. The other is buried in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where all the money went. What happened? It wasn't one big decision. It was thousands of tiny decisions that looked harmless on their own. Psychologists call this the compound effect of behavior. Small actions repeated over and over eventually create a completely different life. And the first habit is so common that millions of people defend it every single day. They confuse spending with rewarding themselves. Have you ever had a stressful day and thought, I deserve this? A new phone, new shoes, another online order, a fancy dinner. It feels like self-care. But your brain is playing a trick on you. Every purchase gives you a small dopamine hit. For a few minutes, you feel happier. Then the feeling disappears. Soon, you need another purchase to recreate that feeling. The reward becomes a habit. The habit becomes a lifestyle. And the lifestyle quietly drains your future. Companies understand this better than most people do. That's why sales, limited time offers, and one-click checkouts exist. They're not just selling products. They're selling emotions. And if emotions control your wallet, someone else controls your future. Now here's something even stranger. Many people spend hours comparing prices before buying a $30 shirt. But they'll never spend 1 hour learning how money actually works. Think about that. They're careful with dollars, but careless with knowledge. Which brings us to another hidden habit. Avoiding financial education. Nobody is born knowing how investing works. Nobody is born understanding taxes, assets, or compound growth. But many people secretly believe money is too complicated. So they avoid learning altogether. Imagine someone refusing to learn how to swim because pools look scary. Years later, they're still standing at the edge while everyone else is crossing the water. Money works the same way. The less you understand it, the more expensive your mistakes become. Here's another habit that's almost invisible. Surrounding yourself with people who normalize being broke. Listen carefully to the conversations around you. Do people constantly complain? Do they mock successful people? Do they say things like, rich people are just lucky, or, money changes people? These phrases seem harmless, but your brain absorbs them. Psychologists have found that human beings naturally adapt to the beliefs of the people they spend the most time with. Not because they're weak, because that's how our brains survive. If everyone around you believes growth is impossible, eventually, you stop trying too. Now here's a question. Have you ever noticed how some people instantly say no to opportunities? Not because they analyzed them, but because they assumed they would fail. This is called learned helplessness. When someone experiences disappointment over and over, their brain starts believing effort doesn't matter. Even when opportunities finally appear, they ignore them. It's like leaving the prison door open, only to discover the prisoner no longer wants to leave. The next habit is one almost nobody talks about. Choosing comfort over progress. Comfort feels safe. Watching another episode instead of reading. Scrolling social media instead of learning a skill. Sleeping an extra hour instead of building something valuable. None of these choices seem dangerous, but they slowly steal years from your life. Here's the scary part. Your future isn't built by your biggest decisions. It's built by your default ones. The things you do without thinking. Now think about this experiment. Imagine someone gives you $100 every morning. The only rule is that whatever you don't use disappears at midnight. Most people would carefully plan every dollar. Now replace that $100 with 24 hours. Every day, you receive exactly 24 hours. Unused opportunities disappear forever, yet people guard money more carefully than time. Why? Because money looks valuable, time feels unlimited, until it isn't. Another hidden habit is chasing appearances. Some people buy expensive things to look successful, instead of becoming successful. Luxury cars, designer clothes, the latest gadgets. They're hoping respect can be purchased. But real wealth is often invisible. Many financially successful people drive ordinary cars, wear simple clothes, and quietly build assets while nobody is watching. The loudest wealth is often borrowed. The quietest wealth is often real. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable. Blaming everything except yourself. Yes, life can be unfair. Some people start far behind others. Some face obstacles that nobody should have to face. Those realities are real, but there's another reality that's just as important. Blame may explain your situation. It rarely changes it. The moment all responsibility belongs to someone else, so does all your power. The most successful people ask a different question. Not, whose fault is this? But, what's the next move I can control? That single shift changes everything. And finally, the most dangerous habit of all. Believing that small changes don't matter. People wait for the perfect opportunity. A higher salary, the perfect business idea, a lucky break. But life almost never changes that way. It changes quietly. One book, one conversation, one new skill, one better decision, repeated hundreds of times. Remember those two people we talked about at the beginning? They didn't become different overnight. One slowly built habits that created freedom. The other slowly built habits that created struggle. Neither noticed the change while it was happening. Because habits are silent. They don't announce themselves. They don't feel important. They simply repeat, day after day, year after year, until one morning, you wake up inside the life they built for you. So before you ask why some people stay poor, ask a harder question. What habits am I repeating today that my future self will have to live with tomorrow? Because your future isn't waiting for you. It's quietly being created by the things you think don't matter today.